இந்த ஒட்டுமொத்த அமர்வுகளிலும் இப்போது வரப்போகிற அமர்வு the most solemn and my own choices sacred and venerable. This is the story of hope to Tamils. Roy Ratnavel ஒரு அகதியாக வந்த ஒரு இளம் பிள்ளை இன்று கனடா நாட்டில் $170 பில்லியன் சொத்துக்களை பராமரிக்கிறது என்றால் எவ்வளவு பெரிய கதை அது. From a refugee boy to $170 billion management மட்டுமல்ல. ஆனால் அதை அவர் பெருமையாக நினைக்கல. அவர் பெருமையாக நினைப்பது, நான் நினைவுகள் மீளலும் காலம் என்று சொன்னேன் அல்லவா, the burden and bliss of memories. It is the collective memories which defines a community. உலகத்தின் நம்பர் 1 வெளியீட்டாளர்கள் ரேண்டம் ஹவுஸ். அந்த ரேண்டம் ஹவுஸ் publishers have come forward to publish his story, this young man's storyங்கிறது அவருக்கு பெருமை. Please give a huge round of applause to Roy Ratnavel. Now a proper introduction about him. Roy Ratnavel is an executive vice president of CI Financial and the head of distribution at CI Global Asset Management with $300 billion management, the largest independent asset management firm in Canada. He currently leads CI's national distribution team that oversees CI's retail business assets over $170 billion. He is a board of director with Investment Fund Institute of Canada and the Aristotle Foundation of Public Policy. Roy is also the recipient of Report on Business, Canada's 50 Best Executives 2020 award. Please, your hands. He summited Mount Kilimanjaro in 2019 to raise awareness about mental health. Wow, our emote has a supporter here, surely. But the biggest story is the world's largest publisher, Penguin Random House, publishing his extraordinary survival story from a teenage prisoner in Sri Lanka to a successful professional in Canada. As I invite and welcome him to the stage, I also sincerely thank Mr. Stan Mothalingam, who introduced Mr. Roy Ratnavel to the Rise. My dear brothers and sisters, when we stand up and clap and salute him, it is not just to Roy Ratnavel, to all survivors of Sri Lanka, all survivors of Sri Lanka, the Tamils. Yes, please.
மக்கள் சேவை மகேசன் சேவை என்று கூறினார் சுவாமி விவேகானந்தர். மக்களுக்கு ஒருவர் செய்யும் சேவை அந்த இறைவனுக்கே செய்யும் சேவையாகும். This summit is exactly that, a service to Tamil மக்கள் and everything Tamil. இந்த ஒன்று கூடல் நமது தமிழ் மக்களுக்கும் மொழிக்கும் கலாச்சாரத்துக்கும் செய்யும் ஒரு மாபெரும் சேவையாகும். எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Roy Ratnavel. I'm an accidental Sri Lankan by birth, a proud Canadian by choice, and unapologetic Tamil by heritage. I would like to congratulate the organizers for putting together such a successful summit to attract delegates from over 70 countries from 5 different continents. I am deeply honored and humbled by the opportunity to speak at this historic summit. And I'd like to thank Father Jagat and also my good friend Stan Mothalingam. There are no winners in war, only survivors. I am one of the many survivors of the Sri Lankan War. Since I arrived in Canada, I have been living in 2 worlds. One with loss, grief, and haunting memories. And the other, peace, prosperity, and profit. One is painful, and the other is gratifying. Like me, many Tamils often struggle to reconcile between the 2 worlds. But the courage of the Tamil people during the decade of cultural destruction and devastation in Sri Lanka represents the highest aspirations of the human spirit. Meanwhile, the brutality from the dawn of Sri Lankan independence, torture, mass killings, disappearances, and indiscriminate aerial bombardment is a legacy of man's inhumanity to man. Since May 2009, we have exhausted words to describe our horror and revulsion. Thousands of dead were children, and most of them died before they even knew they were Tamils. More than a decade later, as we stand today here in May 2022, the dunes of emotions still dominate global Tamil psyche, somewhere between howling sadness and stunned silence. Not even the lapse of time has numbed how truly horrible it was. Massacre of May 2009 in Mullivaikal remains a key moment in the shared history of Tamils around the globe, an epicenter of our heartache and pain. But despite all this monumental destruction and despair, many Tamils in this room and around the globe with different religious backgrounds stood by Sri Lankan Tamils represented a flickering spark of humanity in a world that had gone dark. நாங்கள் ஒரு மொழியால் ஒன்றாகிய மூன்று மதங்கள் அல்லவா? To tell our collective story to the world, at the end of last year, I signed a contract with my first ever book deal. Next year, around this time, I will be published by Penguin Random House, the largest English language publisher in the world and the publisher of many fine titles. The title of the book, and as you can see on the screen, is called Prisoner Number 1056, a survivor story. On the surface, it's an uplifting story, a Tamil story. You can pre-order this book on Amazon now. This book is a conventional memoir that will speak not only to the immigrant experience, but the trials and tribulations of 90 million strong Tamil community. அதை விட இந்த புத்தகம் கனடாவிலும் மற்ற மேற்கு நாடுகளிலும் இப்போது வதைக்கு வரும் புலம்பெயர்ந்த தலைமுறையினருக்கு குரல் கொடுக்கும். மற்றும் அவர்களின் பெற்றோர்கள் இலங்கையை விட்டு வெளியேறிய கதையும் நட்பு கரைக்கு வருவதற்கு முன் நடந்த அவர்களின் அனுபவங்களையும் எடுத்துக் கூறும். The war turned innocent, nameless Tamils into mere numbers. This book strives to turn the numbers back into names. It also has the potential to mold a new generation of Tamil diaspora youngsters around the globe who are longing to connect with the lived experiences of their parents and relatives. This has to do with intergenerational trauma. இது தலைமுறைகளுக்கு இடையிலான துன்பங்களை விவரிக்கும். This book will also attempt to reach a wider audience by appealing to those who have experienced genocide and ethnic cleansing beyond our Tamil community. Prison number 1056 confronts the past while shining the light on the painful and difficult memories. I believe that though past events are unchangeable, they can serve as an important lesson in overcoming struggles of life to strive for a better future. While this story is unimaginable and unsettling, it is never without hope for humanity. Prison number 1056 is my first book, and I wrote this book as an act of gratitude to my father, who I observed intently as a young boy. He instilled in me for the love of Tamil language. By observing him and listening to him, I gained the knowledge of how humanity functions. Learning Tamil and English from him helped me to put that knowledge into words. I'm also grateful for my wife Sue and my son Aaron for never once complaining when I spent many hundreds of hours working on this book. Especially to my wife for not saying, "No thanks, I'll wait for the movie," when I went on and on about this book. And this book is dedicated to freedom and democracy. My appreciation for both is boundless. Here is a short passage from my upcoming book. Us unlucky ones were forced to march to the army camp. It was on the edge of town and the edge of the field. We all knew the field was riddled with mines laid by the Tamil Tigers to protect the town. The army knew it too and marched us across it. We knew every step we took could have been the last one we would ever take. Some of my friends never made it. The boys who I played in the yard with sticks and who laughed at one another's silly tales were now properties of the birds. I lost them forever. I also lost hope for humanity. I was prisoner number 1056. If any good to come out of this, our ugly chapter in the cursed history of Tamils, it would be an effervescent celebration of the notion that anti-Tamil policies, whether it is in Asia, Africa, Europe, or North America, will never ultimately triumph over the unshakable spirit of the Tamil people. I have witnessed this in Canada and elsewhere. Many Tamil Canadians who are immigrated to Canada have made prosperous lives for themselves. And Tamils now are well represented as entrepreneurs, academics, and leading professionals in their respective fields. I am proud to say that we've become one of the most successful immigrant groups in Canada. In just one generation, Tamils in many nations have gone from misery to prosperity, from victims to victors. Many Tamils like you are living this success today. We must celebrate this triumph. The RISE organization has an important role to play in making sure we build on this momentum for generations to come. Defining who we are as Tamils by what we are not, it is the first step led us to really knowing who we are as people. Let's not wait for whatever the event to define us. What defines us has already happened. The Tamil success in this room and this summit gives me more hope than ever before. Now I stand here with hope for humanity. It gives me hope knowing that if given the right condition, which is freedom and choice, Tamils will triumph. Because we are resilient, determined, hardworking, driven people. This room is a testament to that. During this summit, I immensely enjoyed meeting fellow Tamils from across the globe to celebrate and to help grow and protect our rich language and ancient civilization. I will continue to do this until I draw my last breath. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my commitment to you. There are three types of peoples in the world: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and then those who wonder what happened. Let's come together as people and make things happen. வாழ்க தமிழ்மொழி, வாழ்க தமிழினம். Thank you.
That was an awesome moment, right? So poignant, intense, and a moment of truth. Perhaps we have achieved the purpose of the summit. There is hope. There is hope. And there is hope. So, Roy, thank you very much for giving us the hope that the next generation is not going to let Tamils down. They're not going to let humanity down.